Hello. Welcome in, beautiful peasants. Where is my voice? Oh, there it is. Awesome. All right, how are y'all doing? I'm having a bit of a sleepy morning here. I've been like so zeroed in, like post-processing this. I know I'm sculpting without you guys. Terrible. Yeah, just getting all these little details, and I was like, oh, it's noon. I need to like talk to you guys. I'm really excited for this week of streams. I've kind of got a different flow planned for y'all. We're still gonna do like the doors open, the Tavern Keeper's Craft, happy hour, that kind of order still. But as far as like the way I have streams structured and the way that I have you guys involved, I have some different plans this week. A lot more polls, and a lot less of me having to do like cleanup on stream. Yeah. Because I want to show you guys the finished model like this, but I just can't. I just can't with the tiny little micro changes on stream. It's so boring to watch. I don't want to share that, you know what I mean? So I'm starting to do like a little bit of like a pre-stream where I can do all this cleanup in 30 minutes, which is interesting because on stream it takes me like an hour and a half. I don't know what happens. Instead of fighting it, I've decided I'm just going to start my stream 30 minutes beforehand without y'all, essentially. Oop, just impaled myself with a straw. Anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a really good weekend. Finally got back to playing D&D after having 2 weeks that I missed. Oh, my DM was sick for a week too. So I think it'd been 3 weeks since I played D&D. It felt like forever. It was a super fun session. It was pretty much just combat the entire time. We were fighting this ridiculous bloodhound construct thing that was a proper boss fight, so we kept killing it and it kept coming back. I griefed the hell out of Otaka. They were a super good sport about it. They could not roll like above a 10 to save their life, like the entire game. So, like the first time it happened 4 times in a row, I couldn't help but screenshot the Roll20 screen. And the second time it happened, I'm like, oh my god, it happened again. But by the third time, I stopped screenshotting it because it was maybe too much. And then of course, right on cue, I started rolling terribly, so they got me back. It was fine. Yeah, Otaka, I only fought the bear trap. Yeah, I don't know if you ever hit the boss. To be fair, I didn't either. I got stuck in a vine trap, or on one side of a vine wall, and then I was just fighting this stupid swarm of ravens I could not hit for the life of me. And I don't have a magical weapon, so I was doing like literally 1 point of damage. I think during this entire like 3.5 hour combat, I collectively did like 10 points of damage. I'm level 3, so that's not as bad as it sounds, but still pretty bad. Yeah, it was really fun still though. And I have, I'm playing as a tamer class. It's not homebrew, but it's like one of those additional modules you kind of stick onto your 5th edition game. Anyway, so I have like this rat kitten. It's like a black slinky looking cat, really cool. But anyway, so at least like she would provide flanking bonuses to other party members. That's about as helpful as I got. Yeah, I'll talk. So I finished the bigger wolf, but not the boss. No. Hey, I almost killed one swarm of ravens. This stupid boss fight had a bunch of like area of effects to where like we kept being like in pitch blackness, so we'd have to like roll with disadvantage. And I was like, okay. Yeah. It was awesome though. It was really cool. Yeah, hello to Empress, Kate, of course, Otaka, and Reaper. I think Reaper is our lone mod today for right now. I mean, obviously Aloha's probably there. Aloha has just been like an absolute melted puddle recently. Is what it is. Hello. You just barged right in.
Yeah, I'll never just barge right in.
Our door closes sometimes. This door right here, like, depending on how hot or cold it is in the house, it will latch or not latch. Today was a not latch day.
It wasn't.
Let me bring him up here really quick.
Yeah.
Here, the peasants love Maverick. Nope, that's the opposite of how to get up here. Come here. Big jump. Wow. Oh my god. Big jump. Okay. Hand right on the boob. Good job. Okay. Here is the goblin. Look, you're on camera. Stop eating my mic. Hello. All right. I think I've had enough of you already. I know. You go hang out with Ricky? Yes. All right. All right, we're gonna go work now. Get down.
Never.
Good boy.
Hi, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Oh, Aloha is here. And printing. Ooh. Sending you 3D printing magic. Hey John, welcome in. It's so hot and humid right here, so my dog just smells powerful all of the time. It's okay. Oh yeah, I've got a new list of craftable items for a D&D campaign. Yeah, it's like this huge list. So again, my DM is running it just like Monster Hunter. So like once you defeat a monster, but more like in this case like a category of monster, like Fae for example, she gave us like this huge PDF for each class of monster if we fought them and defeated them already, of all the things we can craft from it now. So everyone's like shopping. It's pretty cool. Hey Jocelyn, welcome in. Good morning. Yes, and yeah, there's an item named Pot, and the feature is called Let Me Solo Her. If by chance you're not familiar with like Souls-like and stuff, pretty much like if you have not been on the internet in the last 5 years or not a gamer. Anyway, long story short, it's a very difficult game called Elden Ring, and there is a multiplayer aspect where you can have people help you. Anyway, there was this guy who their character had pretty much nothing on but a big pot on their head and would help people solo, specifically as like one of like the later in-game bosses. What's her name? Millennia, I don't know. It was a big deal. It was super cool. And like actually the developers of the game like sent them like a super like fancy box. I think it was like a replica sword from the game. It was really cool. Good internet stuff. But yeah, it's been super nice playing D&D all the time, or at least once a week. And I actually have a new Kickstarter launching this Friday. I feel like I didn't talk about that at all. It just kind of happened. But I wrote all the stat blocks, so I'm having a ton of fun with that. One of my favorites, I'll let you guys know, like here, I'm gonna tell you about one of them because I can't help myself. We had different like challenge ratings throughout. Again, challenge ratings were more of a suggestion anyway. I just wanted to give you guys a little preview here. But this is my favorite one so far. It's for the Chicken Musketeer. I gave him a challenge rating 1. I am tempted to give him a challenge rating, like I did another stat block of like 15 too. So like he could be like a legendary, give him legendary accidents, but as of now he does not. My favorite was this one. Dramatic flourish. When hit by melee attack, the chicken may squawk loudly en garde in chicken and leap 10 feet in any direction without provoking opportunity attack. I also want to put this in there in case like the DM is like, wait, no, don't kill him. I want to try to give him an option to like get away. Here we go. There's Let Me Solo Her. Gorgeous. Thank you, Paint. But yeah. Pretty awesome. And if you're not familiar with what model this is, let me show you, because I'm really, really proud of this one. We made it somewhat recently on stream. I think it was this month. All right, there is the 3D print of it, super small. Again, it's a normal D20. And then here is a picture of him, just the render. So yes, really excited about that one. I don't think I would have been comfortable doing stat blocks if I hadn't been playing D&D, like, because I've never DM'd. But turns out I got it. It was more fun than I expected. Came more naturally than I expected. Aloha said, I would like to say that the 3D printing community is the most actually community I've ever seen. I've never seen such a heated debate over such pointless things. People are very passionate, like they're really crunchy, like it's me too. Because like it's a fusion of like technical application and creativity, so it can get a little silly. Let me tell you this. If you think the 3D printing community is crunchy and like actually, any animal person community, whether you're raising chickens or horses or dog training, oh god, there's nothing that annoys me more than crunchy animal people. Also, I don't know what is with y'all that have reptiles. Why are y'all so nuts? I mean, I had a snake at one point, super cool, very fun, love animals, whatever. Reptile people I found are crazy, so technical. Very, actually. Anyway. Oh, someone new is here. Leo Wolf, welcome in. I'm glad you appreciate the chicken musketeer. Paint says, yeah, Mia, let me know if you ever need help with stat blocks. Thank you, I will. I actually like had a DM open. I was like drafting like, hey, where do you make these? And then I happened to find it on my own, but I absolutely will. Yes, Aloha, are you feeding that horse glass clippings? Yeah, this was because like my neighbor came over like a year ago when I was feeding, and she's like, you can't feed him that. And I was like, what are you talking about? Again, super heart in the good spot. Whatever. Yes, 100% animal community are worse from my experience as well. Thank you, Paint. Why is so crazy? So crazy. I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah. And Just Lingual asks, have you ever heard or read Dungeon Crawler Carl? That's a funny game-based fantasy, kind of D&D, urban sci-fi, and dark. I want to say I have. It sounds familiar. But yes, welcome in everyone. I wanted to kind of show you this model here before we move on to the Fey Wren. I'm not going to do any of the cleanup on stream because it's driving me literally crazy to do it on stream for some reason. Come here. There we go. Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, so I am always thinking of ways to improve the stream and my art, right? And I wrote down a list of things that I liked and I didn't like, and one of them was post-processing on stream. And once I saw the problem written down, I was like, why am I doing that? I literally don't have to do that. So I'm not. Crazy. Oh gosh. Yes, Aloha said, weird flex, but I printed my most complicated model of the Asimar and accidentally printed it without supports, but it still came out almost perfect. No, it's a fantastic flex. Aloha, I am so glad that 3D printing appealed to you and that you have a 3D printer and you're doing the things, because now you can see why I have this very like nonchalant plus major eye roll attitude when it comes to people printing and being... The stuff fucking prints. It's not as hard as you guys... like this printed upside down and 45.6 angle, so you get these, like, you accidentally printed with 0 supports and almost printed perfectly. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they're so much better than they used to be. I am from the generation of like the first 3D printers, and this is the first resin printer, so I had the Anycubic Photon, the original. That thing, you had to like sacrifice a goat and it might give you some results, and even then it wasn't even that bad. Yeah. Just Lingual, can it truly be finished if there isn't a visible rune? This is true. And we're necklaceless. Aloha said, I have never seen so much nonsense in specifics and prerequisites that meant fuck all in the end. Dude, right? And that's why I appreciate, like, I'm glad that I think I was frustrating you a little bit when you kept asking me, like, you know, you asked me a bunch of questions and I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just do this. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I can tell, like, I thought maybe you weren't frustrated at all. I would have been frustrated if I was you. But you did it and it didn't matter. People acting as though I printed something wrong, my house would explode. I know. It won't. It's okay. It's okay. Paint said, I got in a Lego Mars model, one with mods. It was fine. I printed models at like 10 layer height in 5 seconds. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. We are halfway through Doors Open. I'm going to go ahead and save this little work in progress. And then I'm going to start getting prepared for our main event today. Reaper, yes. Task failed successfully. Beautiful. Alrighty, let's go ahead and open our begin. Hey Steamworks, welcome in. Taka says, my printer sucks. I have to work through some kind of problems every few models. Do you have a resin printer or a FDM? I find that resin's a little more reliable unless you have like a big boy fancy FDM printer. I have the Bamboo Lab X1C. That thing is so expensive and so fancy. That works. Aloha said, I found that as long as I followed your general guidelines and making sure things are chunky in the right areas and you have as much natural support with things touching, you're good to go. Exactly. Exactly. John said, Mia, this is all good to hear as I want to get a printer soon. That would be awesome. And again, I think people forget that, like, just have good expectations, you know? Your very, very first test print will probably come out fine out of the box, and then once you try to print other stuff, it'll probably fail, and like, that's okay. If you have like a 50-50 rate in the first week of printing. That's amazing. And by the end of that first month, you'll be up to like 90%. Oh no, Otaka says the pre-support models from you and Miguel don't print. I have to add support or they just get destroyed. That usually has to do with if you slow down like the lift speed, that can help. That also makes me think that you live somewhere that's colder usually. Interesting. Or if your resin's a little old, that can be a problem too. Some printers are just worse than others though. Yeah, Paint, you're so right. And like, I mean, I don't even mean like between make and model. I mean like the same brand of the same printer. Some of them are different, I swear. Yeah, thank you, Paint. You may have layer speeds too high. I said that weird by saying lift speed, but same. Also, I like that. Yeah, take pre-supports from other creators as just like a guideline. Like the fact that it works for me doesn't mean it will work for you maybe. It generally works for people, but I like that you just like, oh, there you go. Otaka's like, oh no, I've tried everything. You're right, my bad. You were not asking for advice. I could feel your pain through the screen. I get you. I believe that you did it. In that case, carry on. I'm so sorry your printer sucks. Taka is going through slower, faster, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, no, I picked that up immediately. I was like, oh, okay, I get you. Okay, I want to touch on this really quick before I move on. Bunny has a great comment here. Bunny said, my first 3D printer was an Ender 3, and it exploded twice. I was so frustrated with it since other people told me it was so reliable. I had damn near the exact same experience. They're not. I don't know if everyone else had this experience. They're not. Period. Reliable? Reliable is every time I start up my truck, it starts. Every single time. I know I'm going to get to where I need to go, and it's never going to break down. That's reliable. At my Ender, that would like, God, if I like sacrificed a goat and spun around 3 times and it rained, then it would print. Yes. Oh, here we go. Alo actually has some very good unsolicited advice for Taka. Have you tried giving the printer a little smack? Compelling. If it's an FDM printer, then suffering is part of the hobby. That's so true. Unless you can shell out the big bucks. If you guys get a Bamboo Lab X1C, or that's one I have. Again, you probably don't need one that expensive, but anything from Bamboo Labs, I'm telling you, it's like fancy. It's very fancy. Okay, I could talk to y'all all day. Welcome to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. Alright, so what do we do here, and who am I? My name is Mia. I am Mia of M3DM, Mia's 3D Models. I make 3D printable minis for a living, and everything I make on stream is a request. So let's see today's request. The requester is actually in the chat today. That is Otaka. Here is a reference that they gave me. And here is the request. Don't mind that it says Happy New Year. This totally is not 6 months old. I get to them when I get to them, but I do my requests in order. All right. This month, Otaka wants to request a model for a custom D&D race, the Faerun. And there's a cute little weird AI thingy that's the reference. Some time ago, I wanted to let AI make a picture of a fairy, but it messed up and instead gave me creative inspiration to develop the race. That's how you use AI as a tool. Good job. They have insect wings. This one has butterfly wings on their head, kind of like antlers, and look childlike, and similar to fairies. This one wears a sleeveless cloth top and simple cloth pants, probably bare feet. Oh, and this one is female. For the pose, I love that you can interact with something like from a forest, sitting on a stone, smelling a flower, and then the picture. So yes, the sleeveless cloth top and simple cloth pants, I might modify to look more like a dress. We'll see. I actually gave you guys some polls to vote in. So if you want to interact with this, join our Discord, you can do so. So where is this fairy from? You guys picked a moonlit grove, and that will kind of just affect the way that I poly paint her and like general vibes. We'll go for a bit more of a softer, ethereal, dreamlike feel. And then what style of clothing? Just barely in the lead, we have a petal skirt and bare feet, which actually matches here because Otaka also requested probably bare feet. And then I'll probably do a very simple clothless top, but I do want to have some sort of layers. Otherwise, she's gonna look like an orphan if I just give her a plain cloth top and cloth pants. Which is fine. Alrighty. Here are some references that I grabbed. I just like general fairy stuff. Grab some wing references, and this is what Otaka provided. I love the little like antler fairy wings on their heads. It's super sweet. That's why I called it a butterfly fairy, but I don't think she's gonna have normal wings on her back. I don't think so. I don't think that was in the request. Just on their head. Can they fly? Do they like flap their head wings? Ooh, I like that. A little extra for the vibe. They mostly fight with claws and teeth. Ooh, I might have some like little teeth poking up. I like it. Oh, hey, Duke is back. Welcome back, Duke. I like it. Alrighty, y'all. Now that we're kind of moving on with the main Tavern Keeper's craft, as you guys know, I start to neglect the peasants in the chat a little bit. If you need me, comment in our Discord or put at M3DM in the chat. Otherwise, it's cooking time. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is really focus on the proportions and getting this really cute face done. We start off with a little bit of kit bashing, and then we move on to fine detail work. Alright, so obviously, she is much too tall. This is an adult. I think I have a child base mesh, and if not, I'll make one. And thus, the asset library grows. That's how this works. Alright, human bodies, I have a lanky muscle male, and that's it. No, I think I have some right here. Here we go. Here we go, I have a female child. Perfect. That's what I need. I go ahead and just delete all of this. Go to Tool, Import, and I can grab that base mesh I've created previously. There we go, very simple. And then let's go ahead and kit bash some clothes on here. And again, in the chat here, we had two different polls. If you want to have, like, say, in models, like, and get access to the pre-polls, go to our Discord. I do have a new poll for y'all. And this is going to be like what her expression is going to look like. The only one that I'll probably... Joyous was one of them. I'm going to remove that because I don't want to sculpt a big crazy smile today. So I'm giving y'all 3 options for what emotion should she radiate. We have mischievous, serene, and lonely. That poll is live now, and it'll only be active for about 15 minutes, so make sure you go and vote. Duke says, last Friday I hit the subscribe button, thank you, but I failed to hit the bell. Facepalm, sorry I'm late. I guess it's acceptable. Alright, so she'll be barefoot, and I do want to have like this layered cloth like skirt. I'm probably going to use this piece. Again, we picked a Moonlit Grove from where she is from, so I really want something flowy. I wanted the gossamer dress, but y'all didn't vote for that. I think a couple of you did. So as I grab pieces from other parts of the ZBrush file, I simply just go to append, and that works out quite nicely. We don't need anything else. I might grab this. You'll see as it all comes together. Again, we're in that early kit bashing stage. It kind of looks like a big ol' nothing burger. Interesting. And then last but not least is a sleeveless cloth top. And for that, I'll probably just make... Or that works out perfect. Something very simple. I'm undecided on her hair. I think I want something a bit messier, but something that won't distract from this fun, these little butterfly antlers we're gonna add pretty much. Chaka said, by the way, she became a NPC in one of my campaigns. Her name is Maya, and she became a shepherd druid. Okay, good to know. All right, let's give her this cute, like, messy hair. Something a bit simpler. This isn't very messy, but this will give me space to move around. I kind of want something a bit wilder. We'll go with this instead. Yeah, I think I can work with that. And then last but not least, we'll go ahead and add these wings, which I've made a bunch of wings over the years. Can they be sitting on a mushroom? They absolutely can. And then here are these wings for her head. We're going to simplify this. There will be no middle section, just these. Kind of like this. All right, we have all of the building blocks to create this character. So here's our early look. I'm gonna go ahead and screenshot that because it looks silly and kind of cursed. And now we kind of kick back and watch as I transform this into a real character. Just Single says, Mia, can we put a dice stretch goal up? I shouldn't spend money, but I want to be tempted to roll. Not a problem. I actually have that on a fancy button now. Check it out. And for those of y'all that are not familiar, thank you, Just Lingual. Doing my job. I do have an effect, which is the D20 of Destiny, and I think I have it at $7 right now. That's US. I'm not sure what the conversion on that is, but I'm not going to be too picky with y'all. Anyway, but essentially, donate $7. It does two things. One, it lets you roll the D20 Destiny, which triggers 1 of 20 effects live on stream. It can be anything from like adding an elemental effect to this, and maybe she'd have like lightning powers, to maybe making a little accessory. Some of them are silly, where I have to like sculpt with my left hand, that kind of stuff. Again, there's 20. I don't know what you're gonna get. If you roll a 1 though, a critical failure, you do get banned from the chat. So you could pay potentially to get yourself banned. I usually take pity on you and let you re-roll if that happens. And then the second thing that happens is it goes towards this bar here. Once we hit $30 during happy hour, I sculpt a little tabard pet, which is pretty much like a little cute chibi that I make from scratch. It's just like a fun little thing. And then we have a bunch of them. It kind of adds to the lore and whatnot. So there you go. You know a little bit more about the stream. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and unify this, bring this into the scene. There we go. Perfect. So the way that I create all of my assets is so that they're very interchangeable. So you see that I'm actually combining two different pieces right here. There we go. And we definitely need, oh yes, thank you, Paint. The ban's only for a little bit. You wouldn't be banned forever, you'd only be banned for about 5 minutes. Thank you, Paint, I should probably clarify that. Oh goodness. Good clarification. Oh, I agree. So Bunny has good observation here. It mentioned that the AI generated thing does combine the butterfly wings as well as pinchers / forelegs of an insect. Incorporating some antler like a stag beetle might be fun. I agree. I'll keep that in mind. If it needs a little bit more detail, I can almost make it look kind of like a crown of sorts. We'll go ahead and do that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in a base, and then that will end the like kit bashing phase. Ooh, I keep forgetting to poly paint these. That's okay. This base is really busy and I think it's perfect for this character. We'll kind of put her towards the front, that way she doesn't get lost, her little feet and stuff. Alright, I want to give her some eyebrows, and then perhaps we will work on some color block out, and then finally refining our shapes. This is the general workflow that I, you know, kind of abide by. I do change it up every now and then, but no matter which, what I focus on first, we always go from big shapes to little shapes, which is why the first thing I did was bring in, you know, a shirt and the little butterfly wings on her head, all the things that are essential to the character. If I had to export this right now to be used as a D&D mini, it is somewhat serviceable. It's not great, but you want to tackle those things first. I have no business sculpting, painting her fingernails if she doesn't have hands. Does that make sense? Paint says, Mia, have you done stuff with the poly group by Paint? I saw some videos on it being good for hard surface modeling. Yeah, I just haven't needed to, but it is definitely a thing. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Aloha has a very important cautionary tale for y'all. Bad news, guys. My new 3D print was missing a support angled at exactly 67 degrees to the south, and I forgot to sacrifice some cattle to the sun, so now my whole family is dead. Yeah, F in the chat for Aloha. Sorry. That checks out. Also, on a real note, I get why people are crunchy and they're trying to be helpful, I think, but all people do when they're being this ridiculous and pedantic about 3D printing is scaring off new people from the hobby. So I kind of overcorrect by being extra nonchalant. And I will not stop. Alright, and so far in the poll and the lead we have Lonely. I'm surprised. You guys usually pick things that are a little bit brighter. Cool, I like it. So we'll give her a slightly sad expression. Gosh, she has fantastic hair. We're gonna make this more like a child's hair and not so ridiculously fancy. There we go. Soften that up a little bit. Alright, and since you guys picked that she is from a moonlit grove, that is the kind of color palette I'm going to go by. You know, there is a tool that I really love using and I don't talk about it enough. Yeah, y'all should check this out. It's called Coolers. I'll put a link to this. If you're not great with color, that's okay. And there you go. Every time you press spacebar, it gives you a new color palette. Wow, that's Moonlit Grove. Well, that was easy. Okay. Neato. There used to be a spacebar or something you could type in a word. Maybe I have to be logged in to do that now. Ugh, they don't make you pay for that now, do you? You used to be able to type in desert and give you a desert palette or something. You're going to make me sad. Here we go. That's what you pay for. I mean, that's fine. Where is the word so I have control? Oh well, I do like this though. We'll go with, yeah, I'll probably do these silvers and blues, and maybe I'll do some light purples or pastels as an accent. Just Lingual says about 3D printing. This is why I snort a line of resin each morning to dispel fears of 3D printing. Yeah, that's why. Are you okay, Just Lingual? Oh, I never finished my coffee. Yes, snorting a line of resin a day keeps the 3D printing demons away. Beautiful. Alright, my coffee's actually... Yeah, it's cold. Ugh, God. I hate cold coffee. Alright, we're fine. Yeah. All right, the poll went fantastic. I have one more for you guys because I want to give her a little accessory of sort. So, what kind of magical focus / item should she carry? And for the options from that, I have a wand, which is grown from a twig. So like it's a twig wand. I didn't know how else to word that. A lantern full of glow bugs. I'm not sure if I'd actually would sculpt the bugs or not, but like you get what I'm saying. And then a pouch of stardust. It's just gonna look like a normal little pouch, but we'll just pretend it's full of stardust. I also have a like flower harp I thought would be cool, but I think that's a little too ridiculous and away from the original request. So I have one more pull. This is the last one for the day. That won't be up for a lot longer, so no rush on that one. And then make sure I note down y'all wanted her to look lonely. Lantern, please. I think that's really cute. If the lantern wins, I will let you guys pick some stuff from Pinterest or somewhere online, and we'll do a little happy hour demo of how to sculpt a lantern from scratch. All right, let's go ahead and get some poly paint on here. I'm gonna go with kind of like a light, kind of more olivey skin tone. Make that a little bit warmer. There we go. That's a bit more on the peachy side. Olive, I just think more kind of like warm greenish undertones. Oh, we should probably paint this base before I forget too. There we go. So to paint things in ZBrush, all you need to do is select the object you're trying to put color in, go to Color, Fill Object. Simple as that. I have it docked on my UI right here. And if you're like, Mia, why are these colors changing up here? It does that if you don't have a color selected for it. It does like a preview. My poor students that are like, I painted it. And I'm like, no, you didn't. It's just a preview. All right, if it's a moonlit grove, I really want the grass here to be very like pale and kind of whimsy based. All right, what else do I want to be green? Let's get all this grass to be kind of this greenish color. There we go. And something else you can do is change your paintbrush from dots to drag rectangle, turn mask by polygroups to 100, and this means that when you click and drag, it will actually paint just the polygroup and nothing else. Very satisfying. All right, let's get a little bit of a darker effect in here, just in the center. There we go. And last but not least, I do want these little flowers to be kind of like a light purple. Again, very pastel. Excellent, and now time for her actual outfit, which I think I'm gonna go with like whites and blues. Never actually pick straight up pure white. That is black. That is the opposite of white. There we go. All right, what is, kind of like this. There we go. I'll go with this palish blue. That will be the base. And then we'll do this white on top. I like this outer layer here because it kind of reminds me of butterfly tails. Something kind of wispy. And then her hair, I want to be like this. Probably, I really like the colors in the AI image that Ataka gave me. You could make the mother color a dark green. I don't think that's very Moonlight Grovey, so no, I'm not gonna do that. Hey monkey, welcome in. Now I'm immediately like, well, what would the green look like? No, make it pale. And then the colors that Otaka gave me are much different. And again, the color, this is all just for fun. This is just what makes it a bit fresh for me to work on stuff. Everything doesn't actually print in color. I know, womp womp. John said, Mia, whenever I tried to paint it would always change my material before I could fill object. What am I doing wrong? Well, material and color are different, so let's make sure that's dispelled. Hold spacebar. You do not want M to be selected. No M, no M RGB. Make sure it's RGB. That's your first thing. What's that? There we go. All right, let's continue here. And then I want to give a little bit more life to her skin here. It's very dead. So I'm gonna click on C on my keyboard and hover it over this, and it'll automatically select this color. So if I hold it here, now it's that dark blue, now it's that pale again. So I'm gonna auto select that. I'm gonna make this a little bit warmer and drop the saturation over here. Okay, like not saturation, the hue. And now I'll have this kind of like, wow, red tone. See? So we're gonna add a bit of blush to like her nose, her cheeks, and her ears. Where are her ears? There they are. You guys would be amazed how much poly paint does the heavy lifting when it comes to like characters like you all know and love. When you see them without any color, they look demonic. A little bit of blush on her shoulders, elbows, knees, hands, and feet. Isn't that crazy? Like it does a lot. And then as far as freckles go, I like to use, here we go. I like to use an alpha. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. I'm gonna try this one with these dots and then pick a darker color here. There we go. I'm gonna turn off symmetry by clicking X and just click and drag. Let's pick a warmer, redder tone. Again, you guys will notice that I'm really kind of just trying things out. Her skin's a little low resolution for this to work well, so I'm gonna go ahead and increase that. And then I'm gonna increase the focal shifts, that way it blends into the mesh a little better, and reduce the RGB intensity, because I want this to be very subtle. I also want it to be more on the red tone. They shouldn't look like mud. They should look skin tone, which is more brown. John said, Mia, okay, when I would turn off the paintbrush in the subtool palette, it would still have a color for the material. Yes, as I'm talking about earlier. So when I was joking, I'm like, oh no, my poor students were so confused. It's you. You are my student. Because we've all done, we had to be you before we knew, right? Okay, so even when the paintbrush is off, it's just showing a preview. There's no actual color applied. Don't you worry. Now those are the actual colors. Why does it do that? I don't know. But I use it to my advantage. I'll actually like kind of try different color palettes and see different things. There we go. It's probably a little too faded, honestly. So I'll do one more layer here. It's a bit darker. I'm gonna decrease the focal shift so it's a bit harsher. And then you can also like mask the area, invert that mask to kind of get a little bit more control. I'm being very picky with this right now. I can just move on. All right, let's get rid of the alpha and then add a little bit more color to her lips. And her eyes. We're gonna go with this kind of like smokier color. Her actual eyeballs do need color. There we go. So So to paint her eyeballs, I'm going to turn mouse by polygrips to 100. I'm going to click and drag, turn RGB intensity to 100. And let's kind of see where this gets us. Eyeballs are very sensitive, so if you're painting the eyeballs on your character and it's like, oh no, they look cursed, it's okay. It's just kind of the way of things. Just keep at it. All right, if you want things to look possessed, tiny eyes, you want them to look more childlike or sweeter, bigger pupils, but if you go too far, then it looks demonic. I know, it's hard life. Scary, scary. Your answer is somewhere in between, okay? Let's go with a warmer tone back here. And I like to layer these colors up. There we go, that's the happy medium, I think. So that's the darker outer side of it, and then her actual eye color will be inside. I picked a really like bright color just so I can see it. I want her eyes to be brown. Maybe even like a light yellowish color. There we go. I notice I'm not covering the whole thing. I do want that ring on the outside still. And then last but not least, pupils. See? And you end up getting it looks okay. And then usually I will turn off symmetry, go with a white color and put these little like shinies in here. Make sure you turn off symmetry, otherwise it just looks weird. Little shiny here, little shiny here. There we go. If you want to go above and beyond, you can actually make the eyeball a different subtool, and then you can give it like a reflective material, like toy plastic. All right, and then I need to make her eyebrows a little thinner. So I don't want her looking just like sad. I just want, again, lonely and sad, similar, but not the same. So I'm kind of moving her lashes to fit her eye shape a little better. There we go. I'm gonna go over to the top of her eyelashes here and then kind of extrude them back into her face so I won't have any weird gaps later when I 3D print. There you go. John said, forget YouTube, I need a Loa tube to like learn things and stuff. Oh my goodness. That is funny. All right, we're gonna put kind of like this pale color on the inside here too. Where is the color? There it is. And I'll probably have a little bit of a glow effect on her hair as well. There we go. There's the moonlight vibes. I was like, how much color can I get rid of? And I'm like, that was too much. There we go. Otaga says, Mia, is it possible for me to get the ZBrush file for practice and adjust for my specific character? You betcha. Absolutely. So I will send you a copy of this when, right before posing. All right, let's keep on working here. I'm gonna turn off all the poly paint so I can kind of get the features of the face. I'm gonna use my damn standard brush and lazy radius. Oops. To adjust her face a little bit here. So I'm going to like pretty much define her features a little bit better. Ataka says, nice, thanks. You're very welcome. And if I don't send it to you, you know what to do. Just remind me. happy with her face as it is, but I do want to adjust her hair quite a lot. We're going to go to auto groups and then kind of just grab these bangs. Her hair is a little too nicely done right now. Especially as a literal child, I want this to be a lot messier. Alright, I've selected the bangs. There we go. I'm going to subdivide this a few times. And then make her hair quite a bit shorter. Now I can use Move Topological and start kind of moving these pieces around. Here we go. A bit shorter, a bit messier here. John says, Mia, when you paint her shirt, how do you get the fade on the back as well? Symmetry? Because when I paint, it only does one side. Okay, there's two different questions there, and I'm a little confused by both, so I'm gonna read it again. When you paint her shirt, how do you get the fade on the back? Oh, like front to back? I did, so it's just a large paintbrush. So when I click and drag, it's going on both sides. I have symmetry right here, but it's not applying to the back of the shirt. It's only doing that because I'm dragging so much. So if I click and drag, it's gonna fill the entire object because I changed my brush type from dot to drag rectangle. Does that make sense? Duke said, your mastery of creating these figures is super impressive. Thank you, I love what I do. I've looked back in your video history at some of your creations, most notably the Fall of Aloha. Did you go to school for this or auto-learn? I auto-learned. I did not go to school for art. It is rainy and stormy here. Very nice. I'm like, why is it so dark? I did go to school, just not for art. I went for mechanical engineering. Alrighty. Aloha says, you're damn right, it's the most notable. Yeah, so we do like a fun like challenge stream once a month. And that's something that Aloha puts together, and I just do my best. And that was the first one we ever did, was the Fall of Aloha. John says, right, how would you get a constant fade around the entire shirt? You can adjust your symmetry settings by going to Transform, Activate Symmetry, and then X, Y, and Z, that's every axis. So it's axis, A-X-I-S. Anyway, so it'd be X and then probably Z. It depends what your orientation of your character is in the scene. You guys hear the rain? It's so loud. All right, so this is starting to look more like the reference that Otaka provided. Hello, it's a shame that Mia spit at me and said she will never finish it. It's exactly what I said. Now, it's the only one I'm for sure gonna finish. I wasn't saying plural of access. I was trying to say, I couldn't even say singular. I was saying access, like an access key card, like, what is it? A-C-E-A-C-C-E-S-S. Anyway, I can't spell. There we go. And then we can kind of finesse her hairline just a touch. And I'm literally just grabbing each individual hair strand and kind of melding them together. I'm so glad we're finally getting some rain. It's been so freaking dry here. Hello. Sorry, loud thunder. I'm gonna laugh. You guys can't hear. You probably can't hear literally any of that. Okay, that's fine. I'm just making it up. All right, I had fun with her eye color the way that it is, but now that it's not popping. So I'm going to change the poly paint on just her eyes by going to poly paint, adjust colors, frame, and we're going to pitch it, I don't know, to be more yellowy green and more intense. There we go. Yes. That's spookier and fits the character better. Oh, you did hear it. Okay, good. That makes me feel less crazy. Good. The line is coming down. Very, very frightening. Very good. Everyone must sing Bohemian Rhapsody in the chat now. Oh no, the horsey. No, he's fine. He's literally fine. I get asked that more often than you think. I'm like, does your horse just stay outside? And I'm like, yep. Alright, let's bring this up. He has a shelter. He stands in it sometimes. Sometimes. Generally, no. Usually he just continues. I need to take a picture and send it to you guys. He literally just acts like nothing is happening. It'd be like thunder, lightning, pouring rain, and he's just like eating hay in the middle of the field still. Head down, like nothing happened. John said, Mia, be safe with it being lightning out there. You're on a lot of electrical equipment and my overprotective dad voice. I don't know, I'm on like a surge protector. We're fine. She's got a little bit of a bald spot right here. We're gonna fix that. There we go. I'm gonna add some fabric folds to her shirt. And I'm gonna make them really small, tight fabric folds. So it'll make her shirt look a little like silkier. Whenever you cross the center line, turn off symmetry. And then usually I will smooth just the very ends of the fabric folds. Back to the sides here, turning symmetry back on, also adding some seams for the shirt. There we are. I think it's very sweet that you guys are concerned about the weather. For me. I'm mostly just excited about weather. We just didn't have any in California, really, at least where I was at in the valley. Nothing ever really happened. We got like 8 inches of rain a year. There was a weekend here last year where we got 6 inches of rain. That was mind-blowing for me. I was like, is it gonna stop? It did not. There we go, some fabric folds. And the same thing across the back of the shirt. And again, if you're like, oh, how do you know where to add them? I mean, honestly, it's been a lot of time. When I was first learning to do fabric folds, I would literally just put on like a bunch of different clothes of mine, go stand in the mirror and move, I'd watch it. I'd be like, okay, it looks like that. Okay, it looks like that. But for the most part, you look at it and you're just like, oh, okay. It's going to pull across her back. So that's why I have fabric folds like this instead of like this. Like that doesn't make sense. That would be like if it was looser, right? And the tension point would be up here. Also, fabric folds are neat and they do have an element of randomness to them, so you can kind of get away with it whatever you want to some extent. Kind of. Don't quote me. There we go, fabric folds. Bunny says, my legendary request for this month is based on a character a friend played in one of my Pathfinder campaigns, an awakened dog lightning kineticist. Safe to say I've never done that before. That sounds awesome. Aloha says, the fabric fold assignment Mia gave me is still something I look back on fondly as a big turning point in self-confidence and my own work. That is so awesome. That makes me very happy. So I'm adding some seams on the front. I didn't quite do them right, but these are more like very similar to what they call like princess seams. They're pretty much just flattering darts. Where is her body? Nope. Stop. There we go. And then these are too long. I want to give like a cute little flowy skirt. So I'm simply going to just mask what I don't want and delete it. Simple as that. Polish by features. Neat. Oh yeah, this is way too long in the back. No, I kind of like it. Especially because Otaka was like, can you just give the file to me in case I want to make it more like my character or the NPC the way I intended for her? And I'm like, okay, awesome. I feel like I really have permission to do whatever I want right now then. It is raining so hard. It is just white outside. Let's see if I can show that to you guys. You're gonna see my room. Not really, this is the studio. I swear that is like no exaggeration. I understand that like obviously it's brighter outside so it looks white, but it's, yeah, that's about what I'm saying. I can't even see the tree that's right there right now and it's like 5 feet next to the house. Okay, that's an exaggeration. There's a tree right there, it's not 5 feet though. Anyway, weather. Alright, I also want these layers to be a bit more interesting and shorter. But not too short, because she is a young lady. Micah says, my request for this month was very alliterative. A noble right fantasy, banshee, black metal, bassist bard with bones bass, but basically bubbly in contrast and appearance. That's fantastic. Okay, with this much rain, Spartan's probably, he cares now. He has his limits. I'm sure now he's crabby. That's okay. He's fine. These are so cute. Oh my goodness. The forecast has been saying it was going to rain every day for like, I'm not joking. I am not joking. The last like 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, it's here finally. It happened. I'm checking out the forecast really quick, see how long this is going to go on. Heavy rain for the next hour. 2 hours. How big is the storm? Oh, wow. Well, if I just disappear randomly, it's because we might lose power or internet. Just letting you know. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes. There we go. Weird. So I'm kind of getting this ready for pose prep right now. Oh, I should save. Thank you. Yes. I still don't know what to call this because she's not really like a fairy, but she is. I'll just call her Fae. Fae child. How's that? I really like how her hair turned out. I think it's especially cute. Duke says, the best money I ever spent my house is wiring up a backup generator. That's pretty smart. We do not have such thing. But that is okay. Alright. Taking care of her hair. Looking pretty nice. Mucky mentions, yeah, the storm was crazy here too. Don't send it my way. Wow. That's a good one. I like light eyebrows and eyelashes. I think they're kind of eerie. I do want her to look more sweet than eerie though, so. Oh, I wanted to share it with you guys the playlist I'm listening to today. It's just super dramatic, like fantasy music. Obviously, you probably can't listen to it and the stream, but I'm gonna share it with y'all anyway. I was listening to bird beats for a long time, and for once I'm not listening to lo-fi, so I wanted to share. Mia's weather dad right now. Oh my god, I missed that. He is retired, thank you. Oh my god, he does love weather though. Alrighty, looking good. Meep, meep. We're gonna call this head details. Shirt. Alright, let's get this detailed up. And then she'll need some sort of belt. I might be able to just build that into the skirt. Let's try that out. So first of all, this does not exist right now, as you can see. So we're gonna make it exist. We're gonna go dynamic subdivision levels. Or sorry, no. Or no, it's called dynamic subdiv, yes. And then apply thickness that way. I like for it to be on the chunkier side and then apply. And then now that it actually exists, I can do a little bit of modeling here to add a little belt. So I'm going to extrude a poly loop at the top. Oh, it's being a little funny. That's an interesting neato thing. Why are you doing that? So essentially I have like two edges that are kind of like, there's a little gap right here. It's really hard to see. Anyway, I'm going to fix it just by dragging the mesh over to the right without symmetry on and then mirror and weld. And so now it doesn't have that weird extra edge. And then extrude. Neat. I'm gonna do the same thing to the bottom of the skirt. Interesting. And the second layer here. I'm also going to bevel the underside of the skirt so it doesn't look so chunky. I can also just smooth it down too. Either is fine. And the reason why, again, I have this fabric so chunky is just for 3D printing purposes. It just makes my life so much easier. What did Aloha say and then immediately retract their message? Suspicious. Paint says, what is a setting that lets you move strands of hair and not a clump? Not a setting, but a brush. It is called Move Topological. It's a great brush. All right, I'm gonna subdivide this a few times and now I can kind of tuck in these little like decorative petals into that belt area. trying to see how much I want these layers to layer. I'm sorry if any of y'all are afraid of thunder and the sounds are kind of eking you out. Alrighty, we're going to add material here as well. This weird, lovely, jagged edge is happening because I have triangles on the edge. No matter, I'm just going to have it on 0 subdiv anyway. Okay, you do need to behave though. Actually, okay. I'm like, not like that. There we go. Alrighty, and then bevel and extrude just like before. Keep in mind we're using the ZModeler brush. It is highly dependent on where you are hovering over, if it's an edge, polygroup, or point. Alright, we are almost done here. Also, the last M3DM update of July is out. Let's go ahead and check that release out. Here is a link if you want to see it as well. Again, it's free to follow my Patreon, and it does really help. So at the very least, go check it out to follow. So yeah, I work on, during the week, streaming with y'all, making these models, and then they get released on Patreon. So yeah, these are 3D printed, and they are all on a 25mm base, this big. So yes, all these pictures are this big. Yeah, we got that crazy little coot miner, and then a mimic chest, which I actually did not make that on stream. They are all of the mining carts we have. I did 3 variations. They really printed quite nicely. Really happy with those textures on there. Nice. And there's our crazy coot miner. Oh my god, he looks awesome. I had so much fun sculpting his face. Check him out. Nice. This one's also great. You can really see that front tooth in all of its glory. Amazing. Nice little butt scratch going on. Very good. And then here is a little chest I made and then monsterified it. There it is. The request is interesting for this one. It was like a rogue chest. So yeah, made it look kind of like a thief. Tried to make the tongue look kind of like fabric, like a bandana. I think it turned out quite nice. And there you go, that is the release. This gets added to the vault, so if you are a legendary patron, you get access to all these free printable models in addition to over 1,000 others. Yes, 1000. Awesome. Thank you, honey, Ricky, who I know is watching, for getting that all put together. It looks amazing. Monkey says that mine turned out great. It did. Oh yes, and there's a new Kickstarter soon too. I really need to give you guys a link for that. I don't know where I put it. But we do have a new Kickstarter project coming out very soon. Ooh, that's an update. We just posted it as like as a link somewhere. I didn't... Is it in the M3DM post? Although it's probably just more observant than I am. No, it is not in that post. Although it's just really on point right now. I don't have a link for it. So Ricky, if you could put a link to that design for the Kickstarter, that'd be great. Monkey said, hey, it's a quick question for both me and everyone else. Do you prefer your decorative models to be on a base or not, like for terrain stuff? I prefer for it not to be on a base. That's why I have it on a no base version, unless it's really small and finicky. You know, like if it's significantly smaller than 25mm, like it's like even like a table. That could be, or just like a singular chair. That's kind of annoying. Then maybe I want it like on a little mat or something. But yeah, for the most part, no base. Oh yes, here is that Kickstarter link that is in the chat right now. Again, it is free to follow, so please follow. And yeah, it's pretty much our own monster manual. We're doing a Book of Beasts, and yes, Aloha, front and center we have featured is Pookie Bear. Partly because it just looked really good, but also for the lore and the memes. But yeah, I'm so proud of these models, especially her. That's one of my like original designs. I mean, technically so is Pookie Bear, but this one especially was just like from scratch. I'm really proud of it. And then the Swarm Lord, that was so difficult. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. Everything's going to have stat blocks, and I'm also making tokens that will be Roll20 compatible. In addition to the tokens being like, again, you put them in Roll20, I know some of y'all, your printer's not working, and I'm like, I should provide tokens. So if your 3D printer just is being ass, you can just like print the paper token as like a Hail Mary at the end. Again, it's really easy for us to make them, so yeah, it's gonna be a pretty nice project. I'm very excited. And there's gonna be physical rewards this time. So if you guys wanna order prints from us, you can. Monkey says, yeah, I'm asking for a friend. I'm thinking of doing some terrain stuff. Since I make so much of that stuff in my Photoshop workflow, I might as well make 3D printable models for them too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I'm just gonna have this extrude an edge and then subdivide. Yes, okay, so I'm gonna insert an edge loop here because the bevel's being funny because I have really ugly triangles everywhere. Alrighty. No matter, I have solutions for everything, literally. That's the benefit of making a lot of mistakes. You learn a lot. I guess they're not mistakes, I guess just workflow stuff. Add a couple edge loops there. There we go. Now we got a trim here that makes the model a little easier to read. I can subdivide that and then use Move Topological to sort everything out so that way everything is layered correctly. Sweet. And last but not least, fabric folds. So we actually have all of our Kickstarters planned for the rest of the year, which is really exciting. We have a really epic idea that I won't tell you about because it's top secret, and we need a lot of time to like develop that idea. So we decided to make an in-between Kickstarter, and then we found out that I can't do these models chill, I have to do them epic. So then we made another in-between Kickstarter, and that's the Book of Beast. Oh, and rewards went out for the Mastersmith collection, so if you guys have any questions about that, they were sent to you on my mini factory, but if you need them on Gumroad instead, because my mini factory can have meltdowns, just let me know. Send me a DM on Discord and I can help you out. I already had one person message me being like, my mini factory is stupid, and I'm like, I know. What do you need? And then by the time I got back to them, my mini factory had decided to work. But if that is you, let me know, because I can make it easier. Alright, in the poll, it looks like a lantern full of glow bugs won. So if y'all would be so kind as to find some references to some magical, pretty lanterns, if you could put those in the Discord, I will actually model those during happy hour. And if you don't, then I won't do it. I know, it's like homework. It was a poll, but really it was a trap. Oh, the token versions? Oh yeah, we did it in Affinity Designer, just kind of like made like a little frame, and then we have like our fancy renders that we kind of slot in there. That's the second person that's offered to help. That's so awesome. Big shout out to Monkey and Paint. Thank you guys. get some more fabric folds because more is more. There we go. Oh yeah, no, Monkey is definitely the Roll20 master, 100%. How do I want this to look? How do I want these to layer? So you notice I'll take my move brush and I will literally just start like clicking and dragging and seeing shapes that I like. All about the shapes. Let me add some flowers. We're gonna go with these like little clovers. And then we're gonna have symmetry turned off and give them like this pale green color. Take care, Bunny. Thank you for hanging out. There we go. Kind of just playing with the design here. Really having fun with this like little skirt thing. And depending how we have her pose, I'm really gonna have this be really flowy and stuff. I think I want 2 layers of this. I know this is becoming a very layered skirt. Sometimes it's just what it becomes. I don't think I want any of these pieces down here, these little flowers, because they're kind of getting in the way. But if I can drop this to its lowest subdiv. Okay, will reconstruct subdiv work right now? I don't think it will. I'm gonna give it a chance right now. No. Oh well. I'm gonna like lightly pose the skirt here to kind of see if it's gonna do what I want. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why it wasn't. Ah, it will reconstruct subdiv actually. Oh wow, this thing that I was complaining about not working is working beautifully. Okay, that's fine. That's a good time to be wrong. All right, so I really want this to look a little bit more airy almost. So I'm going to mask just the bottom of the skirt, grab my transpose line, click and drag, and then kind of like float it to the sides. See? Beautiful. Gorgeous. That's really what I was wanting. And I might add more flowers later on. I went a bit overkill with the skirt. I had a lot of fun with it. Ooh, we're getting some nice lanterns in here. Oh, Seder is lurking. Very nice. Gorgeous. Thank you, guys. Ooh, there's some fun ones in here. Awesome. So that's what I'll work on during happy hour after I have helped out my students. Which won't be too long today because I did most of them before the stream started. That being said, we're getting very close to the end of Tavern Keeper's Craft. So, yes. Hello, said for me, Reconstruct Subdiv is like the fortune teller on the street corner. They say they'll predict your future and help, but really they just waste your time and leave you sad. I feel that. Too real. Hey, Empress. Welcome in. Seder. No, I'm not. Okay. Even when I don't think my mods are here, they're here. Just Single says, I hope to catch up tonight. I've been moving, so it's been busy. Who says you're behind? It's all just perspective. But no, I get you. Moving sucks. It's difficult to get literally anything done when you're moving. There we go. I don't know if I'm going to put these little flowers on her like they're inexplicably growing out of her skin. I'm not sure. But I'm going to add some. Maybe like a little bracelet. Oh, someone new is here. Hello, hello. I am not confident how to say either part of your username, so I'm going to call you Day. Welcome in. Just gonna add a few like asymmetrical details here. Oh, that is my husband. Hello.
Hello.
Is he dying of thirst?
He is throwing an absolute fit because he doesn't have water right now. So.
It's my dog. He's a needy princess. Meanwhile, my horse is outside in like a literal thunderstorm. Doesn't care. He's fine. And then my like inside dog is like, where is my water? That checks out. I'm adding way too many of these, and I love it. Just Single say, I say I'm behind. I want to make that $1 a day count. Oh, there's Seder again, who's not watching. Thanks, not watching, Seder. And there's the hearts. I think that's Seder. Anyway. You're absolutely making the $1 a day count. In case you're wondering and you're lurking, I have a mentorship program where I teach people how to use ZBrush. It's one-on-one. I'm giving you assignments tailored to you and your goals, and it's super cheap. It's $30 a month, so it's $1 a day. That's what they're talking about. John says, Mia, I love the palette of the Sculpt today. Me too. And you saw how I got the inspiration for it, right? You saw the website I linked? Empress says, this bay is coming along swell. Thank you guys. Very sweet. Everyone's doing the hearts. I like it. It's a party. It was such a peaceful Chaos Monday. Nobody set the chat on fire, didn't have to deal with a bunch of effects. Very quiet. Not that I'm complaining. That's fancy. It's a good render. Alright, I'm temporarily going to add a lantern from my asset library, but we are going to sculpt a brand new one during happy hour. Just single everyone, but the mentorship prize could rise soon. So if you're on the fence, twirls businessman mustache. I've decided that I'm going to keep the $30 a month option, the $1 a day, and I'm going to make a new tier that's $50 a month that includes anything business related. So the second someone asks me a business related question on mentorship, I'm like, no, you must be in the expensive tier, because I found that those students are always more work, in a good way. Aloha says, yeah, it's the mentorship's a screaming deal, guys. $1 a day for each month, except for February, I guess. In which case, Mia scamps everyone by making them overpay. Oh, some finger rings. Oh, I love that idea. We're gonna do that. It's probably gonna be just more flowers, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna just throw this lantern on here for now. I don't know. I think I can do a better job than this lantern. I don't know, this lantern's actually really cute. You know, it's the same lantern I have on Otaka's other request, the mannequin, which is funny. Okay. I don't need to fuss with this because I'm just gonna remake a new one anyway. But I do want to get the position correct because it looks so chunky. Where do you belong? How do you fit? There we go, something kind of like that. I do think like a little daisy ring would be really cute. Good call, Otaka. That's adorable. And let's put a couple different ones on this side. Awesome. And then I do want to possibly add some sort of ornamentation pattern. I just picked one randomly. Let's see if I like what I picked. I did. Wow. It just needs a little something. But a reminder, like, the order in which I do things, right? We do simple shapes and then we add detail last. This skirt is so over the top. Otaka's like, can I get simple cloth pants? And I'm like, no. What, is she a peasant? Okay, we're not going to do any on that one because the topology on that's a disaster. There's the detail. There's a little bit of oomph. It was lacking some oomph, guys. It was looking a little boring. A lot better at just like adding like a little something special to my models without overthinking it. Okay, I really think just like a little bit right here would be super beneficial, but I don't have the resolution in my mesh to do it and I don't want to remesh it. So we're gonna call it good. Oh, she is kinda. She lives in a cave in the forest. Moonlit Grove. Beautiful, beautiful princess fairy. There's a comment that I'm not gonna read. Oh, Aloha. I would answer it. It would be a very short answer. But I'd answer it. I don't know why I had her belly showing for like literally no reason. There we go. Okay, we're gonna simplify this base a little bit because it's so busy that I have nowhere to put her feet. So right now I'm just removing aspects of the mesh that I think are busier than they need to be. And that's kind of how I like to design these bases. So I make them very, very complicated, lots and lots going on. And then I will remove what is too extra as opposed to have to add. It's always easier to trim back the fat. Kind of let yourself go like hog wild. Then try to make something boring slightly more interesting by overworking it to death. If you are looking for the commands you can have happen during stream, it's !store, and then you can check that out. All of them should be listed. All right, and my favorite thing to do that makes a model just a little more whimsical is just grabbing pieces of hair and floating them off the model just a little bit. Let's see if I can get this to look the way I want it to. You know, we're actually going to duplicate the entire hairstyle, and then I can mess up one piece and not worry about it being an un-3D printable mess. Do I like that? I don't think so. Yeah, this is actually really good. Goodness, this base still has too much going on. There's no room for her feet. All right, very shortly here I'll be going on break. I'm really happy with what I got done in, I don't know, about an hour here. I'm going to inflate her feet just a touch. There we go. All right, so we went from this kind of kit bash disaster to this. I'm pretty happy with it. The colors are a little muted, a little boring. So let's go ahead and move this light and then increase the intensity just a touch. There we go. Wow, I wish I did that a while ago. It's fine. Oh, you know what? Now I'm looking at her. Her hairline is a bit weird. It's not like I just mushed it around or anything. Nope, that's fine. It's this piece. And of course, it's the one piece that won't let me select it. Come here, stop being a problem. There, I'll just delete you if you're gonna be a problem. There we go. I can grab this section here. Okay, we're gonna mask each hair piece at a time because it's being really silly. There you go. And then I like using a damp sander to kind of like cut a part in the hair. Let's see how that does. No. That's better. Oops, I forgot that her eyebrows and eyelashes are part of that same mesh. Alright, and then let's just pull that hairline down a little bit. I don't know, do kids have foreheads? No. I'm really overthinking that. Okay, we're good. She turned out really cute and really whimsical. Kate said, I hate One Piece. I read the whole thing and I still don't like it. Well, it's not over, so who knows? Maybe at the very, very end here. I think they're on the final arc right now, I think. Alrighty, let's get a nice little render here. Get a merge visible. Alright, a couple minutes here, I'll be going on break. I'll come back and it'll be happy hour time. I see that some of y'all have already DM'd me for stuff to review. Looking forward to it. Whenever Mia says subdivisions. Oh, you guys are great. Cannot stop yawning. Okay, we're good. I made banana bread again over the weekend. I was missing more ingredients than I expected. Actually turned out quite good still. I didn't have enough butter and I didn't have like any brown sugar, so I replaced it with white sugar. I didn't have any vanilla extract. Kind of just good enough. Came out quite nice though. You guys are so well behaved today, it's putting me to sleep. There we go. I was just estimating this down so that way I can duplicate it and make a fun little splash page here. I've been doing more of these and I really enjoy them. It just puts such a nice end to Tavern Keeper's craft, and you're not going to see her again until the model is all pose ready, so. Alright, and then Shift R, that will cue the rendering in ZBrush. Did you see my idea for a sacrifice command? I didn't, but I can imagine what you're wanting. I don't know if that's a thing. I can have you guys gamble. Okay, that was a little underwhelming. So let's see if I do preview AO. That's better. I like that better. But yeah, that is the character that we made today. It took about, oh, I don't know. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark. So, less than 2 hours. 10 minutes of that is just the stream rolling by itself, and then 30 is me doing nothing, talking to you guys. That was a super good time. I love how this character came out, even if I made her a lot fancier than Otaka was originally intending for. If you don't paint her like an ethereal moonlit fairy, it would look much warmer, more summer vibes. She just has like fancy pants on. That's really the only big thing that changed. Gambling has a chance of reward. Sacrifice takes our hard work and gives us a direct way to waste, invest. I could maybe I'll see if I can make a command in CloudBot that's like a poing fund. Or if you guys like manage to stockpile enough poing together, I'll do something. It'd be outrageous. It'd be like 10,000 or something, but that could be fun. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna go on break. I'll come back in about 15 minutes, probably top of the next hour, and I'll see y'all then. Thanks for hanging out with me. Before you grab a drink and enjoy the break, like the stream, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Hello, hello. We are back and it is happy hour. Okay. Oh, I have a tip jar bar on my head. Here we go. All right, so this is where I focus on my students and review any work that they had created. So let's see what we got. What was that? Anyway, starting off with chicken. I don't know if chicken is here today, so I'll go ahead and give them a timestamp to reference. Currently at the 2 hour, almost at 9 minute mark. There we go. All right. Hello, chicken. It is time to review what you sent me. You said, hello, miss. How should I transition the body of a horse and torso of a man? So we are talking about centaurs. I've made a lot of centaurs. There's a couple things you can do. Essentially, when in doubt, put a belt on it. But I'll show you a couple examples that I've done in the past. Because I've done some with armor and some without. So for my centaur lancer, she actually doesn't have a belt. I just gave her a breastplate and some of like this trim here. But the most important part about a centaur and the proportions is that if you look at the top of the head to the bottom of the hoof, it's about the same height as a normal person. So make sure you're not making the torso weirdly short or weirdly long, and that everything kind of fits nicely. It's pretty much a normal person, and then there's just horse behind it. So yes, in this case, I don't actually have a belt. I just have a breastplate and there's kind of these tassels that are below it. Another case I did was this knight, which is also full armor, and it looks like this. So I kind of cover it with a skirt. For the most part, if you just leave it plain, it looks quite odd because let's look at a horse really quick here. From the front, please. Here we go. Yeah, these muscles here, it's like pectoral muscles, kind of look boob-like. And so it's weird when you have that continuation line on a human body. So if you don't put anything there, it can look a little weird, and then their torso ends up looking really long. Some people kind of just put like fur. It's a nice little simple version of that. You can kind of have fur that will come up and kind of give like that belt effect, but just make sure there is a clean distinction, because depending how smooth you make it, you get into this weird lumpy zone. Just make sure, again, you're not crushing the torso. You need to have a belly button, or at least where the proportions would be, in those lower abdominal muscles, okay? That's gonna be very important. So that was your first question. The next one was talking about 3D models for selling them. And I mentioned, yes, Cults is a great place to start because there's no fees. But just keep in mind, you cannot sell stuff like this that is IP that you do not own, though it's very cute. Awesome. Yep, so thank you, miss. I'll rewatch in the morning. So how and from where should I start? Like, can you provide a roadmap if possible? You know, everyone's journey is just so different when it comes to selling their work. The first thing is that you need to have your own body of work, not fan art. Commissions can be fine if they're to an extent, but you really need to know what are you selling and pick a genre. It's okay to be overly niche in the beginning and expand, but you want to have some focus. Even saying miniatures is not good enough, because it's like, okay, wargaming or more like D&D, what scale are you going for? Which does matter, because if you're going for like 15 millimeter, they're super, super tiny. You design a bit differently. Do you want to more like the way that I do it, where I have small minis, but this can also be scaled up to be like statue size and still look quite nice? Do you want more semi-realistic? Do you want more Hero Forge? So find the kind of general style, and general, you need to know what you want to make. And it can be grimdark, it can be high fantasy, and you can always break out of that. Like, I have a steampunk collection, I have Greek mythology, all kinds of stuff. But in the beginning, shoot towards making at least one cohesive pack. Like a bunch of druids, you know? Or like a forest pack, so you have a little bit of scatter terrain, a little bit whatever. You are not going to succeed if you do one-offs of IP that has already been established. Like even this, no. Because this is just a knock of, like, that's a Joker, Venom. Is that a minion? Don't. It's very like Trotsky kind of stuff, and there's tons of people out there doing that, and it's just not, anyone can do it, you know? Bring something to the table that's uniquely yours. And again, I really recommend Cults 3D. My mini factory is great, but you do need to pay, I think it's like $30 US dollars a month in order to be able to sell there. Creality is also free, Creality Cloud. It's mostly bots, but I do make like $100 a month there, so you can make something. So yes. All right. John says, Mia, if you were to view the skeleton of the centaur, do you try to align hip bone with the horse's legs to know how tall, or do you just make sure that it looks right? I just make sure it looks right, because it depends what kind of horse you're going for, if it's more like draft or whatever, but essentially it is hip to hip. That's not a bad way to think of it. Yeah. Up next, we have Otaka. Oh, they did the hair. It looks weird. Why does it look weird? It looks weird for a couple of reasons. One, you did not turn off symmetry when you worked over the center line. So you kind of got this like double buildup going on. Some of your texture, so essentially you went from like your primary shape and then to like tertiary details right away. You don't have any individual like hair clumps. You just have like one hair blob. There's also a dent that got taken out of it right here. That means you had your move brush on a negative focal shift. So just put a little dip in there, which is a-okay. And just a little overworked. That does look quite nice though. Again, I like that you have, so see how you have like the mustache is separate from the beard? You can do the same kind of treatment for the hair and like the different sections and stuff. Like, do you see her right here? Each strand is a separate piece. That's a little overkill. Don't recommend doing that right from the get-go when you're learning. But that's partly why. Also, as far as like the video goes, I mean, you got decently close. It's just about getting some practice. I think you did just fine, personally. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and send you this file here because I know you want to kind of have this option. All right, we're gonna do a couple things here. First, I'm gonna copy this tool. I'm gonna delete this. This is at 7.5 million points. It's a bit high, just letting you know. I call it Faye Child, upload that to Google Drive, and then I can send that to you. Or you know what? I might as well get this post process ready. No, this is fine. Make sure you download this somewhat soon because this link will not be there forever. I'm gonna replace this file by the end of the day. All right, that is currently uploading. I'll send that your way. All right, how have you been doing? You did the potion assignment. That turned out quite nice. This was the Dynamesh practice. I'm kind of seeing like where you're at skill-wise. You need more practice. More practice. I'm gonna have you do my Sculpt address assignment because I don't think you've done that yet. I want you to get more practice in creating forms before I put you on to project work. Which I guess is fabric folds. I feel like I had you do that already. No, I did not. All right, so this is a fabric fold study, but really I want you to get better at learning how to construct assets so that way you can start making your own characters and ultimately so you can make the pants for this character. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and send you the ZPR as well. It's not student friendly. I'm just providing it to you. If it's hard to work with, that's just how, that's them apples. Okay, next up is John. All right, hello. The first screenshot, thicker tubes, is my attempt before watching the video and the other are after. So this is the video I sent him to pretty much just replicate. And they did a pretty darn good job. The proportions, I guess, are a little off. Not really, looks great. And there's no detail on the wood. And then after watching the video, it is now poly painted and we do actually have quite a bit of tertiary details here. I like it, I like it. I like everything that you did here. And then I'm going to push you to go a step further because since you were able to do blockouts like this and create characters like this, I know you can do better. Again, you did what you were supposed to, but I want you to make another potion rack that you designed essentially. I cannot remember, I think it was Grimnir. I pushed them to do the same kind of assignment. So I will show you what they did. For example, here you go. This is the potion rack they did, and then I was like, hey, I want you to push this and make it stylized because Grimnir has a similar style to you, and then they made this. So again, you don't need to sculpt like a skull and candles and all that kind of stuff, but see how they started playing with different shapes of bottles and different decorations? That's what I want you to do next, John. I know you can do this. You definitely have the skill level for it, so it's time to push it a step further. I'm gonna go ahead and send you this screenshot just so you have like a reference point. Again, don't copy this because then I'll just make you do it again. Push it. Stylize time. There you go. Hopefully you are still here and watching. Yes, so that way it doesn't sound like it's just nonsense. But yes, I love what you did. Keep going. You don't have to do, again, it doesn't have to be 2-tiered necessarily. I definitely want different bottle shapes. You could just do a single shelf. You could do a slanted shelf. You can make it look like this, a circle. I don't care. Just have fun with it. Make something unique to you. It is not cheating to look at references. Putting that out there because I think a lot of my students get hung up on that. You are more than welcome to just open Pinterest and be like, cool potion rack, and look at stuff and be like, huh, ooh, I like that. Oh, that's fun. You know what I mean? And then like just start making them. That's totally okay. And like kind of put together your own thing. The thing that I don't want you to do is to look at this, for example, and copy it. Don't do that. No copying. You're going to find a way to truly use references, be inspired, and then make your own thing. Similar to what you did with Vulture. You got this. Aye, Captain. I like it. Yes, create a potion rack that your daughter would love. That's a great prompt, Aloha. Gorgeous. Just says, Mia, have you ever done a challenge like a sculpted day for a month? You kind of almost already do this, but I'm curious all the same. No, I've never done any official challenges other than seeing how long I could stream. I did like more than 30 days in a row of streaming. And honestly, that makes everything easy now. And that's why I did that. My goal was never to literally stream every single day. I hope you guys know that. I was just kind of like, if I can run a marathon, that makes running 2 miles a day really fucking easy. And that's how I kind of created a more sustainable workflow by like bulking up, and now I don't have to do as much. Oh my god. Satyr not being in the chat, but just like putting gifts is like giving me life. This is super funny. I hope you're having a good day, Satyr. All right, those are all of my students. Everyone has been taken care of. I am going to work on this lantern in a second, but I want to get this pose ready. Yes, and then John to Aloha. That's a great idea. Thank you so much. Aloha is fantastic. Love for Aloha. Alrighty. It is time to get this pose ready. So all this means is having all of these individual pieces not be too ridiculously high poly, and they're nice and workable. This only matters because I use Character Creator 4. You don't have to do this. If you want to pose in ZBrush, you just go to Z plugin, transpose master, and you're in business. That being said, if you're super high poly and you've no subdivision levels, that's going to give you a problem. Alright, I like this, and I like this probably the most. So I have one from Otaka and one from Satyr that I really like. Yes. So the reason I know like this lantern looks pretty good, guys, this took me so long to make. I spent like 2 hours on this years ago. I can do better and faster. So whenever I know I can make something better and faster, that means it's time to do so. So all these little cute flowers and stuff are not gonna make it to posing. I'm gonna name it No Pose Please for Ricky. I just have them on here so I remember to put them on after the fact. Sometimes it is easier to just add these little details once your model is posed and like help it make it more balanced and try to bind it to certain subtools. Like this was so easy, just click and drag. It took me like literally not even 2 minutes to replace it all. So I'm going to wait and do that then. All right, we have a lantern. Shirt looks good. I'm gonna hide this. Make sure everything is named something different. Aloha says, Mia, what is the worst mess, lovingly, of a ZBrush file that one of your students had gotten themselves into? they shattered a mesh and then kept subdividing. So they sent me a file that would not even open on their computer anymore. Like they saved their CPR to deal with it later, and then it wouldn't even open anymore because they broke it so bad. It's pretty impressive. And they were really upset about it. And I had to explain to them that it was garbage regardless. And I was like, you don't want it. You're okay. You guys have seen when stuff shatters in ZBrush, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? If not, I can break something for you to show you. How is this still so high poly? Excuse me? Oh, just the body is 200,000 points. Oh, I don't have subdivision levels for the body. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how to do subdivision levels. It is time. All right, so right now, this body is 290,000 points. There's no subdiv, which is annoying. That means that the lowest subdiv I can go is here. So when I mask something and try to blur, it kind of takes forever. So I'm gonna fix it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this body, we're gonna duplicate it, we're gonna hide everything, visibility only available on 2. We're gonna take this body, I'm gonna decimate it down to a resolution that's reasonable. We'll do 50,000 points. And I'm going to Z-remesh by half. Because right now this is covered in ugly triangles, and that's not very easy to pose. Okay, so it destroyed it. This is really common. See? Garbage. We don't want that. So we're going to Z-remesh again, but by same. Oh, another mistake I did was adaptive size is to 0. When adaptive size is to 0, it just means that ZBrush is going to try to evenly blanket your entire model. See how everything's like the same size? It's not paying any attention to like the eyelids and that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna put adaptive size back to 50, which is the default, and Z-remesh again. I can increase that to try to get better results here too. It's okay if it's gonna look low res, like I want it to look low res. Yeah, like that's probably fine. All right, I'm gonna subdivide a few times, like Command D. And then I'm going to, what has happened? Oh, there's teeth. Ugh. Okay, fuck it, never mind, 1 second. We need to auto groups, I need to delete the teeth. Because if not, it's gonna cause a huge mess. Huge mess. All right, I'm gonna grab her teeth. I'm going to pull them out of her head. There we go. This tutorial officially sucks. It's gotten too niche. It's okay. When you are creating subdivision levels, take your high poly thing, duplicate it, make it low res, and then project details back on. That's what we're doing. That's the steps. So I have my ugly topology one, and now I'm trying to Z-remesh it to be a little nicer, but still low poly. Should you always decimate before you Z-remesh, and why? No, not necessarily. I'm impatient, and I didn't want to take forever because it was like 300,000 points, and if I Z-remesh by half, I have to click Z-remesh by half like a million times to get it to a low res. All right, that's good enough, I think. And then I can project. That's the before, it's the after. You can see it's trying its best. We'll subdivide a few times and project again. We got some eyelid nonsense going on. Ooh, it kind of fixed itself. Good job, ZBrush. See, you have some artifacts right here. And this is why I complain about Z-remesher. All right, we're gonna mirror and weld because it's definitely not mirrored right now. Yeah, stop it. So this eyelid nonsense it's doing, you can use the morph brush to clean stuff up. I just like to use my smooth brush and just keep projecting, and that usually makes it a little bit happier. Yes, okay, that actually did a good job. Stop it. You can also change the distance and get some better or different results. I find 0.1 tends to do quite well. I love how it's not symmetrical. Stop. There we go. All right, that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, just some good results. Okay, so here is the before, here is the after. Just takes some finessing. And then you'll see on this new copy I made, I can now have a low poly version. High poly, low poly. So now I can like mask the arm, I can blur really quickly, and it will actually bend really nicely. As opposed to this really high res mesh, watch. 1, 2, 3, it didn't blur like at all. And now when I go to bend the shoulder, it just kind of like gives me a really harsh line, and that's really hard to work with. You don't want it. Last thing I'm going to do is show color and then project one more time, so that way I have color on this mesh. I'll click delete all. Son of a. Aloha says, Mia uses Decimate like taking a sledgehammer to a wall. It's damn effective, but it is chaotic messy. That's funny, but also on a real note, that is a really good use of Decimation Master. I don't want that to get lost. It's really not that chaotic, and it's a really, really good tool that you should be using. You're gonna have to, I think people get really hung up on trying to create stuff with like nice topology, and that's not how you sculpt. If you're modeling, sure, but it's totally normal. Like again, you're going to go from low to high, and then back to low again. So you have a low res mesh, make it really high detail, and you're gonna have to retopologize anyway. So don't let that stop you from getting good shapes. And Aloha knows this too. I just don't want the baby students getting confused. When I'm doing like dumb workflows, I will let you know. This was not one of them. There, see, John said, yeah. So in other words, NSFS, not safe for students. See, that's what I was worried about. No, it is. It's a very, Decimation is great. Decimation Master is a fantastic tool. You should be using it. It's like I've been teaching for a bit. I'm like, oh God, students are not going to understand what you meant by that, Aloha. I knew immediately. I was like, we can't say that. There we go, Aloha. No, I use Estimate Master a lot at the end. It's great. No, not just at the end. During the whole workflow, it's actually very helpful. It's my bonk button. That's also a good way of putting it. Here we go. Kind of fixing some of these little spots here. Stop being like that. I had my results exactly and then I accidentally deleted them. So if you click on delete all, there's no like undo button in ZBrush. It actually just deletes it forever. I know. There we go, that's good enough. And then now with color. Color, project all. I'm worried that John's now super confused. John, are you confused? Alrighty, that should be good now. Let's see how we're looking poly count wise, and then we'll make that lantern. Yeah, super low poly, perfect. That's what I was wanting. Gorgeous. We're gonna save Faye Child. John said, hi, yeah, you read my mind. Yeah, I knew you were confused then. Okay, so John's wondering when to use Decimation Master. Whenever you want to lower your poly count. Simple as that. Now, it's going to give you triangles. It can give you ugly topology. That's fine. John, you're not doing any UV mapping. You're not doing any texture work. You're not doing normal maps. You're not doing rigging. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like you had a crystal ball. I've been teaching a while. I can tell when... Yeah, no. So essentially, when I wanted to make a new version of this body here that had subdivision levels, right? It was really high poly, so I could just zero mesh it by half a bunch of times, because when half is enabled, it tries to half the poly count, right? But that just takes a lot of button clicks. I have to just do it over and over and over and over and over again. So I just skipped a lot of that work by just decimating in a low resolution for me, because Decimation Master is really good at that. Decimation Master was like, oh, I can make it lower poly. I got you. It's not gonna be pretty, but I can do that. So I let Decimation Master take it to a low resolution, and then I use ZBrush to clean up the topology a little bit. ZBrush is not workable topology in any professional sense. Nothing beats retopo by hand. You can get somewhat workable versions of by like using polygroups in ZBrush, but I don't want anyone to think that they can just run their model through ZBrush and have a rig ready game asset, because you won't. That's not what it's for. That's why you have other, like again, you can retopologize in Blender and was it TopoGun? Maya is really popular as well. Yeah. I hope that helped a little bit, John. Hey Duke, welcome back. Duke says, wow, that looks great. I got pulled away to work, then came back and bam, it's done. And that's exactly why I love doing these streams. And I know a lot of people watch the way that you do, right? Because like, you're busy, you're working. So it's fun to kind of like, if you have time, you can watch it come to life. But if not, it's like a little present waiting for you to see what happened. And thank you very much for the kind words. I really enjoyed working on this model. All right, it is time to work on a lantern. I have this little like placeholder for now, but I want to make a new one. John said, Mia, oh, okay, that makes sense. Very good, very good. Decimation Master, I think, is severely underutilized in a lot of workflows because it's just really cool in what it does. Alrighty, so I would like to make this one especially. It's a little complicated though. So this one has a stronger, easier to follow base shape. So I'm gonna use this one first. I'm gonna screenshot that and then check it out. I actually have a software here that does things, guys. I can click pin and then it'll keep it on top. There we go. So I can reference it over here. You guys have been telling me to grab something like this forever. And now I don't have to lose track of the chat and I have a reference of what I'm working on. Amazing. Elo said, yeah, if you're not doing export stuff or UV things, feel free to go nuts. Those things have TS requirements a lot of the time. Exactly. And honestly, you're gonna have to handle, like, even if you are gonna do that later, you can still use stuff like Decimation Master because you're gonna have to do it by hand at some point anyway. Alrighty, we are going to initialize and bring in a cylinder. Let's have it decently high res. It's probably higher than I need. It's definitely higher than I need. There we go. I'm gonna turn off perspective like I normally do when I'm modeling, and then we're not copying this. We are going to be inspired by it. Okay, so I'm gonna work with radial symmetry because it's a round object. Oh, here's Sater, thank God. Just do the words. Sater says, let's put it this way. Decimation Master removes extraneous topology. It optimizes the poly count, reducing as much as it can while maintaining as much detail as it can. Exactly. I don't know why I couldn't just say that. Thank you. All right, Z plugin. And then we're gonna go to, oh no, sorry, transform, activate symmetry, and then radial. And it's going to be on the Y-axis? Yes. Sweet. And I can kind of start moving the shape around and whatnot. But for the most part, I'm probably gonna do this by hand. A little taper here. A little taper here. Again, we're just worried about shapes. And I don't have perspective turned on purpose. Very dramatic shape. So when I subdivide, it's gonna have more of that curve. Right now, not so much. All right, that is a shape, neat. And then I'm going to duplicate this, grab another cylinder, and make this top part. I'm gonna use my ZModeler brush to start extracting like some edges and stuff. Or not extracting, extruding some edges. I'm gonna use Q mesh for this next one because I want to taper. Not like that. Literally not at all. poly loop. There we go. See how it has a little taper now? And I'm not really sure how I want this thing to happen. I'm gonna Q mesh this island up and then probably just taper it myself manually. Yes. And then I can actually mask this top section and then I can scale it down. That would also work quite well. Neato. Now I'm going to grab just this inner portion here, polygroup island, and then add another little edge here. Ooh, I like that. Is that going to have busted topology? Yeah, it is. I kind of had a feeling you would. What if I do it some other way? I like that that's uneven, honestly, but I am going to fix it. Really complicated, fun shape on top. Going to crush that down. And I'm also going to bevel this bottom edge here. I don't think it's going to work because I have triangles and stuff. It worked. Never mind. Neat. John says, now I have Seder to do. Yes. It's a very valuable community, that's for sure. Alrighty, and then more shapes. But wait, there's more. What do you use as your interface device? I use a tablet. So this, and then it's my pen on this hand, and then I have my left hand on my keyboard doing all my hotkeys and stuff. Good question. And now I'm just having fun with this, kind of making different shapes. If it's overly complicated, I don't mind. I'm just kind of happy that I can do stuff like this faster. Because I used to be really, really slow at this. It is a Cintiq. I am fancy. Do not buy a Cintiq. I don't care if you have all the money in the world. It's more expensive and it's more than what you probably need. Though they do have a new one out that I want. John said, Mia, last question, Decimate question. Does it keep polygroups? No. But you can remake them depending on how your polygroups existed in the first place. If they're separate meshes, you can do auto groups and they'll grab them back. If you're painting on a mesh like this, no, will not work. Although it says, Mia, you know when you hold the mini up to the tablet to gauge size and detail showing? I tried that out and it was really helpful. I'm not sure if it's 100% one-to-one, but it was really helpful. I'm glad. I haven't used that tip in a while. Like I haven't said it out loud in a while. I appreciate you saying that, so I will remember to say that more often. That's one thing weird about streaming. Like when you give like the same advice over and over again, even if it's like helpful, you stop saying certain things just because you've said them a lot of times. Even though like it's literally still valuable. So I really appreciate you saying that, Aloha. This is so much better constructed. I literally sculpted this at like 3 million points, guys, and it took me like 2 hours. I'm at 1,000 points for everything right now. Let's start poly painting. And again, I just want to get through this quickly to show you guys that it's possible. It's not necessarily like a sculpt with me or like a direct tutorial, but that doesn't mean that you can't ask as many questions as you want. And if I end up pretty much making the whole damn thing again by answering your questions, that's fine. Kind of adding like a rough little wood texture here, so I'm kind of chipping away some pieces, and then I'll come over with this noisy alpha. You were in the way. I really like this. I like how this turned out, and now I kind of want these panels to be more obvious. Extrude polygroup island. Do things. Yeah, something kind of like that. And then I can separate the two. I think. Yes. I do find that sometimes, yeah, it does this effect. Which is not my favorite. Here we go. Those were way too chunky. I don't like that. Let's just undo it and try it again. Here, I have a better way to do this. I'm having a big brain moment. Let's just leave this the way that it is. And I can poly paint this, do whatever I want. But to make this most modular, I will simply have another copy of it on top. And I can do different like little bars and stuff. Welcome back, Micah. So I'm gonna duplicate this, bring it down to its lowest subdiv, and then I can kind of just mess with this to add these pieces. There we go. Let's try this out. So I'm going to go to Insert, Single Edge Loop. There we go, a bunch of little skinny ones. I'm also going to get rid of this crease really quick. Actually, you know what? It's not going to matter. And then I'm going to extrude some poly loops. It's going to look noisy. There we go. And that's just so much cleaner, and that gives me a lot more versatility in the way I'm going to work with this. I'm putting an excessive amount of edge loops on this, and I'm not sorry. I wonder if I can just like do this by hand. It just like makes some noisy, cool stuff. Yes, I think I can. We're coming towards the end of the stream here. If you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask. I think it would have been better to just do one side, duplicate and mirror it, because now I kind of got this like blobby one. What if I like make it really long? Here, I just want to redo it. What if I did this? No. Why are you being silly? Yeah, something kind of like this. I kind of want something a bit noisier. And I actually want these to be even skinnier, but the way that it is now, it print really well. What if I do this and then make it smaller? Yeah. DukeSets, how do you feel about AI and its move into creative spaces for character design and graphical rendering? Do you combine any AI in your art for design or inspiration? At this point, if someone tells you they're not, if AI hasn't affected their reference boards and inspiration, they're lying. It's just everywhere. And I'm like, whatever. I have a different perspective as a 3D artist because 3D AI is absolute garbage. And honestly, I think 2D AI is fine. It's serviceable at times. That's like about the highest praise I can give. But as far as being able to like kind of like kit bash like a mood board together, I like it because I can tell AI, hey, generate 100 different helmets, right? They're not going to be historically accurate. They're not going to be anything accurate. But I can kind of piece together like interesting shape and forms that I like across them and then combine them. Again, that's the artistry of picking and choosing what I do like and then making something new and truly iterative from it. Long story short, it's a tool. It's a tool I have no problem using. If it's the final product, you're a hack. You made nothing. As far as how I feel about it, this is my job. This is a business. I really am able to keep stuff like that separate. I'm sure if this wasn't my business, I'd be like angry about it, but I just don't have that energy to spend. It's a business and I love what I do and it's very touchy feeling and I love my community and all that kind of stuff. And I know I'm an artist and I'm not just like this robotic machine. But that being said, if I just don't have time or energy to take some, you know what I'm trying to say? Like justice stance, whatever. I'm going to keep making art. Accuracy can interfere with creativity, speaking from personal experience. I actually am not certain. I can read that in two different ways, which is kind of cool. Being like sometimes when it's overly accurate, sometimes that can actually make it more difficult to create something interesting. Or other times it's not as convincing because it's so inaccurate. And that's why at the end of the day, like just have multiple references. Never rely on one source. Thank you, Duke. Not worth your energy as a hill to die on. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you, thank you. I've learned to be very suspicious early on when people are trying to get me. If anyone's trying to get an emotional reaction out of you or get you worked up about something, even if it's a good cause, I would be suspicious of that. I would be very suspicious of that. And there's a lot of that out there. So protect your energy. And it's not about being apathetic. I think people get burned, you know, and then they just don't care about anything. And I'm like, okay, that's also not a good alternative. I knew you guys would have cool insights on this. Oh, I should use the same, big brain moment. I'm gonna use the same trim from her dress on this piece to make it look kind of like stained glass-esque. Yes. And it's gonna match her dress too. I should really keep this file so I can iterate more lanterns in the future. Okay, I will do that. Even though it's, yes. I'm ending that thought right there because my students have been doing that a lot recently and it's making me a better artist, where they'll say like, oh, this is a good tool, but like I made this thing and it's fine, but just stop. Just say a nice thing about your art and shut up. Just stop. Ataka says, someone who sucks at doing art, hopefully, just for now, AI really helps at resources and private stuff like D&D. Absolutely. And Duke said, not trying to spin you up. Oh, no, I didn't think you were. Sorry if I misspoke. I just mean like, because AI is a hot topic, so if anyone's trying to like get you riled up, just know that they probably don't want to hear your real opinion anyway. I didn't think you were doing that at all, Duke. Just genuinely wondering what an artist in the space would feel about it. Absolutely, and that's why this was like a cool, interesting discussion. Yeah. Like, I would think you were trying to rile me up, Duke, if you asked something like, so how do you feel about using how do you feel about the doomed future of creatives now that AI slop has ruined society? That's the kind of question where I'm like, I'm not going to answer your question because you're not looking for an answer. So now I'm just merging all these details down together, and we're gonna put some flowers and stuff on it. I'm kind of thinking what flower I like most on this. You can use a backface mask to kind of get like an ambient occlusion like paint effect. It's really cool. Here, I'll show you. See how it'll glow like on one side, not the other? I did it like really dramatic just now, so it's a little not super usable. You have to be kind of careful with how you use it. There we go. And the angle at which you apply it's also very important. You can also, sometimes I have a little bit more success using it to shadow what's currently there. Ooh, I do like that. That's cute. Ooh, I hear what you're saying, Monkey. At least when it comes to animals, I think it was Bunny who actually put a reference in recently, or in our resources, where it's just like actual pictures of animals. You might. So there's becoming more like repositories online where you can get references that do not have AI. Here, because I hear what you guys are saying, and it's going to become more in demand to have like real references, you know? Here we go. I'm going to tag you guys both in this just in case you haven't seen it, because I think you guys would both really enjoy it. Lord of the Peasant's Father Monk. There you go. I tagged you guys both in Discord, something that Bunny shared. There's more and more stuff like this becoming a thing. So this is just an animal photo reference repository. So it's something in the right direction. I hope that's helpful for you guys. It's just a drop in the bucket for now, but I think there'll be a bunch of tools like that in the future. All right, I think the poly paint on this is a little bland. I made it a little bland. So we're gonna go ahead to poly paint, adjust colors, and we're gonna kind of pump this up. We're gonna bump up the saturation. Ooh, and I can mess with the hue a little bit. There we go, see that more of a glow. So I did the poly paint right, I just didn't do it strong enough, so now I can kind of adjust that glow effect here. There we go. Aha! See, isn't that nicer? Ember said, I missed the student artwork show off. Yes, you did. So here is the lantern we had before. And again, this thing is so old and it took me like 2 hours and I didn't model it. I just hand carved sculpted it. I actually like the decorations on it a little bit more because it took so long. But I like how clean the current one I made is. I definitely think the one I made now is much better for the specific character too. Awesome. Merge down. Decimate. Monkey said a great thing. Just keep making art. That's what I do. I like it. Amen to that. Ah, this is so much cleaner. I love it. Empress says, Nyx, my dog, is not feeling too hot, so I've been watching her and working on things here and there. Oh, I hope she feels better. Also, fun fact, Nyx is one of like my go-to names for any character creator game. So like Nyx, Freya, and Willow are my top 3 that I use for pretty much everything. I recently have been using Rayla more often. And I'll find a way to pin this that I like a bit more because it's not really grabbing onto anything right now. Oh, there we go. I was able to loop it through her belt. That's actually really cute. I like it. John says, new lantern is so good. Thank you. It was fun. Hello, it says, Mia, do you have a model nearby that has engravings or filigree to show? A lot of my work has really small details. I don't think any of these ones do. I have a tribal barbarian, a mouse with a frying pan, a mermaid, Nuclavie, and a cherry blossom dragon. So no, I don't have a 3D print of that next to me. This is super cute. I'm very happy with that. Is she a yellow lantern? Yes. I'm gonna need to save this and re-upload it. Make sure it's still within my poly count limit. I think it is. Yes, very good. What program do you use for character posing? Sometimes ZBrush whenever I'm doing stuff like creatures, but whenever it's like a human, so I can just put a normal rig on it, I use Character Creator 4. And I don't know if you heard me, Duke, but I'm super pressed about this. I did not think you were trying to rile me up earlier. Just in case you had to like go up to work or whatever. I did not take your question like that at all. I thought it was a really good question. We're still talking about it actually. I did not get that reference. Is she a yellow lantern? I don't get it. It's late enough in the stream that I didn't even get that you were trying to make a reference. Alright, we're gonna do a new little showcase splash page thing here. Nice little render, and that's gonna close out the stream for the day. So if you have any last minute questions, now is the time to ask, okay? Otherwise, just wait till tomorrow. There will be new polls to vote for tomorrow's model very soon. From the Lantern Corps, Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern. Oh, yeah, it never occurred to me that there's anything other than Green Lantern. I know Green Lantern, the villain, but I didn't realize that there was literally any others. I learned something new today. Emotional electromagnetic spectrum. I'm learning today. Empress says, how was your day, Mia? And where are the roaring snores? Yeah, we are dogless today. I'm really good today. I had a great weekend. Just chilling right now. Aloha says, is the trim you have across the clothing a brush or an alpha or both? It is both. It is an alpha that has been turned into a brush. Very good. Oh yeah, I haven't done the screenshot thing in forever, and there's a ridiculous GIF here, so I must screenshot. Alrighty, smile. I forgot to keep doing these. That way, people kind of look back through this week's streams and see what we made today. Oh, I was thinking of Green Goblin. Ha! Well, no, I mean, he's definitely been a villain. Or am I thinking, no, I'm thinking of Green Goblin. Oh my god, I don't... Oh, this is DC. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of... I'm thinking of this. Close, but not close. Yeah, that's not DC. Meep. I know a lot more with Marvel. Yeah, I'm not a comic book nerd at all. I really don't know anything to do with comics. Was never big on superheroes. Stop making it worse. Just being honest. Green Goblin is a thing. Don't listen. I know what I don't know sometimes, and yeah, Green Lantern shirt. Yeah, he's got like the ring. I will do what I want and I will say what I want. You guys are so dramatic. Oh my god. Yeah, the fact that you guys are losing your shit when I literally distinguished that. Oh yeah, I was thinking Marvel, not DC. Jesus Christ, you guys would absolutely annihilate people that were casual in the hobby. Anyway, we're going to last call. God. The fact that y'all complain, you triggered me. The fact that y'all complain about people being all, actually, and then like you do stuff like this. You are what you hate. I'm just letting you know. Christ. Oh my god, is there a real question? Emperor says, Mia, so as I approach face work, what should I be conscious of? I have some anatomy knowledge, but applying it is a different beast. Because you haven't done it at all, just start. Just start. Just know that you're going to start and you're not going to like it, and that's fine. But think of like major like bony landmarks, so like where the edge of your orbital eye socket is, like a cheekbone, obviously your chin. Noses are up for grabs because it's cartilage and the whole thing just moves around. But anywhere there's actually a bone, so again, think of the skull as underneath a little bit without getting too emaciated looking, obviously. For the most part, you need to just start. Faces look so different, there's so much variety to them that just start. Yeah, I know. I love the fake nerd allegations, one because I know you guys are joking, but two, like, my literal job. Sorry I'm not nerdy enough for you guys. She has the right spirit, even if she was wrong. I 100% mistook Green Lantern. I was thinking Marvel, not DC. Also, you guys give a shit about Green Lantern? Come on. Come on! Yeah, biometric points. I call them bony landmarks, but biometric point sounds fancy. I like that. Loa says, yes, but Mia, you claim to be one of us in the nerd crew, but really, you're a cool horse lady. I can't be outcast from both, y'all. Sayer says, Mia, the ring is the interface device with the vast cosmic powers of emotion. It's so lame. The lanterns are the power source of each ring. That's all you know about Lantern Corps. And that's all I know about it. I still have not watched the movie, no. Any actual questions? We're about done here. Micah, Green Lantern literally brings imagination to life, and one of the most famous ones was a visual artist. I'm sure, but like as far as superheroes goes, I'm sorry, nobody gives a shit about Green Lantern. It's true. He's very, as far as like the general public especially, they're not gonna know who that is. There you go, thank you, Aloha. Told you. Empress, that's about for me. I just need to keep working. Yes, you do. You're doing super fantastic, Empress. Just keep on going. The face is going to be humbling, for sure. Aloha, fine guys, we'll take her in. No, it's fine. Apparently, literally sculpting minis for a living was not niche enough. This is why I was scared to write stat blocks. And then I realized, I'm like, oh shit, I really know this stuff. Alright, y'all. That's enough of that. Strong finish. We got a little bit of that chaotic Monday energy or chaos Monday energy and at the very end. It was a very, very tame day today. I like it. And then Aloha, speaking of after my fake outrage, Green Lantern is cringe. Alright, you're gonna set the chat on fire. Alrighty, y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Keep an eye out in our Discord server. I'll have polls to vote for the model, like some aspects of the models. Manana. Alright. Take care, peasants. Bye.